Hey guys, welcome to a F1 video. Today we'll be going through each of the tracks and playing one lap on them, making them like basically a one race, calendar, basically 1 lap per race, sort of F1 season calendar. And we'll see where we finish at the end. We start off in Australia and down under we get Stroll straight off the line. We go for a move around the outside of Yuki Tsunoda. We make that stick brilliantly. We're driving the VCARB as Isaac Hadjar, playing on 100 difficulty. Not 110 as most people probably do play on, but on the slipstream against the Ferraris here, we go for the move, nearly make it stick on both of them, but get a bit on the grass and Hamilton gets through, and now we look to skip past it. We actually do get Hamilton with a big slipstream using all the battery, as you know, it's 1 lap, and because I can't make the game carry over the battery or anything, we'll start with 100 battery again, and can't make them start where we actually start with. It's around where we end is where we'll start. It's actually raining in China here, and we get a decent start. We're already on the back of the McLarens by making a double move around the outside on the Inters. We're practically colliding with the McLarens here, but we're just trying to make as many moves as possible so we can have a higher finishing position when the race ends. So we make a brilliant move there on both the McLarens actually, we just make it stick around the outside. Piastri went defensive, we just went for it and got good traction on the exit. And now looking back to see where he is, but sort of dusted him off, but he's all over the back of us towards the end of the lap. But because the not heavy rain, but because the rain, there's not a lot, they can do the AI here. We can't do any more to make any more positions up. So we're looking into lap 3, which will be Japan, and we just end technically lap 2 on P5, and going into the Japan, a dry race. Most of these will be dry. We just go for a few brilliant maneuvers straight off the start, but we're pinched in, so we have to back out. Now we don't want any damage this early. Maybe a bit of track limits there, the game didn't give it to us, but there we go for a move on our teammate. Brilliant maneuver, and then we are all over the back of Sainz, and it's not the best move of the whole video. We make some contact, send him onto the grass, and we look to make the move on Albon, the other Williams car, and now we're all over the back of Lance Stroll already. So we made that move stick, and now we'll look to fast forward to when we make the move after 130R on Hamilton. From a long way back, probably not the maneuver that should have been made, but to end the lap, decent position, P8.
Okay, DRS.
Clean lap. So what can you say? Moving on to Bahrain, good sort of a getaway there, and we look to make it to outside, but make contact with our teammate, break a little bit of our front wing. Won't be the first, won't be the last of the contact. That was brilliant, and it was late by Russell to go to the inside, but we see him making the defensive maneuvers. We have enough time to react, get him. We also get Piastri. That's 2 brilliant moves in 2 seconds basically. Just have to be quick on our reactions, make the move, make it stick, and nothing happened the rest of the lap. So just skip to the next lap, which is Jeddah. We have to be a bit more cautious because the walls are tight around here, so we have to look at the long way before we take the inside on Piastri, and now we're all over the back of Leclerc, basically bump drafting him there, looking to gain some slipstream on him and looking to make not 1 but 2 moves, one on a Red Bull Yuki Tsunoda. That was a brilliant move. Next we're looking at the back of Hamilton, seeing how we have to make overtake on him to gain position. We are already using the battery all over the back of Hamilton. This is maybe not the cleanest move, but under circumstances, bit of a contact, and now around the outside, move done. Now we're looking at the back of the Mercedes, but they're just a bit too quick to catch. Our battery runs out. We almost get Kimi for P4 in the back end of the race, or in the back end of the lap, but unfortunately we just can't make it stick. And like I said, the game just put some random positions that I didn't go through to make the qualifyings to this point of realism. So to the point of where positions, it would have also been hard to get the AI on positions. So just let the game set the AI to where they would would be in each race, but we make some good moves there. Now we fast forward towards the end of the lap, because nothing really happens on the straights. No, they're too far back, I'm too far back as well. No moves really are made. This is not really a place where we should make a move, but you know, I want to make some contact, but we'll probably squeeze him too much onto the wall, and you know, we get the position, and we end the lap in P5. Moving on to Imola now, where you know it's decent start to the lap, but when we get a bit onto the grass, we have to back out of any maneuvers. We actually get overtaken. We make the overtake again. You know, we're wheel to wheel there with Hulkenberg and Sauber. We kick Sauber, and then we look at a brilliant move on Alonso. This brilliant battle here. Lawson and Stroll, myself and Alonso. Brilliant battles there. And then we get the move. We're going to look to get the move on Lawson too. We get a little bit too much curb, get a bit of a drift going with wheel to wheel. We use more battery than Liam Lawson and the AI, and we actually get the move done, and that's all there is to Imola. We couldn't catch Stroll. Well, now onto the Monaco. It's not my favourite, and probably not my cleanest Monaco, and because the walls are so tight, I also want to go for the move. There's a bit of contact into turn 1, we have to leave the space there, and then we go for a brilliant send on Alonso, but we are wheel to wheel, so we see ahead. Lawson and Yuki are wheel to wheel too. We're trying to leave enough space, also not trying to hit the wall there. We get a little bit of a warning if we're colliding with Liam Lawson, but here into the tunnel section of the race, we go for the move after it. We get both the Red Bull and we get spun by the Red Bull. We've got both the RB of Lawson, and we got Yuki. We got spun around. Probably didn't leave enough space, but that was the end of that lap. Nothing happened after. Just a bit of damage for both me and Tsunoda. Now looking onto the Spanish Grand Prix, or Spanish lap, part of the 24 lap race. Decent start. Now we're looking into the next set of the long right-hander. We get another move done, and we look at making a move on the outside of the Ferrari. We're playing on equal performance, if I haven't mentioned that already, so it makes a bit more level playing field for each car to actually have a go over a 24 lap race. And it's just more entertaining to go for moves and a bit more fun to climb up the order, you know, starting so low. But we get both the Ferraris, and that's what we can catch Russell. But in Canada, we start 11th. We get a good start. Or good start to the lap. We send out around a long way of Alonso and our teammate. We're trying to finish off 2 moves at once, but there's 3 wide with myself, my teammate, and the Red Bull of Verstappen. And we do make the move in the end. We make it stick. We look back to make sure nothing happened. And the next move will only be at this part of the hairpin. We get 2 for 1 with practically a little bit off. Half the car is in, so the moves are legal, but we make 2 brilliant moves there. Finish up in P6 for this part of the lap. Brilliant racing that whole lap, and yeah, just unfortunately couldn't get Yuki. We would have liked to get Yuki Tsunoda just so we could have one more position looking onto the next lap, but next part of the lap is Austria, and we're looking into turn 1. We get overtaken because Stroll just leaves no room, so Albon gets us, but climbing up turn 2, looking towards turn 3, we get Albon back, and not only do we get Albon, we also get Stroll and loads of cars by sending it down the inside. We see some space, some room, and we're already behind George Russell. We're in P7 here, using up all of the battery, as we have to every lap, just use up all the battery, try and get as high as possible, so we can have a very good finish. We go down the inside, we see some space, as Russell does not defend the space, and then this is a brilliant maneuver, probably the best move of the whole race on Piastri for P5, but there's just not enough of the lap left to go for P4. We're so close there. Well, Silverstone, probably the least enjoyable one to actually race, only because of this. Just get spun round, dead last, colliding there, a bit my fault, a bit of the AI's fault. But nothing happened, no damage thankfully, but we don't make enough time. And this is where the game actually helps us. Instead of starting P20, we start P14, so we'll take that. But it probably makes up for the fact that we sometimes start higher, sometimes we start lower, so we actually start in a decent position 3 wide then to 1. Brilliant maneuver there. Now we're chasing Hamilton. I mean, this is either this move or the one on Piastri is probably the best move of the whole race. You know, just sticking it flat, using battery, making sure we just stick a wheel then, see what happens. Could have had damage and could have taken us out the race, but luckily we didn't. And there we make another brilliant double pass against Leclerc and Tsunoda, but we are still, you know, thinking about that Silverstone situation. We're trying to be a bit more cautious, but also a bit aggressive to make sure we get the move done, so there's no time to make any contact. But because that we're a bit over aggressive, take it onto the grass, into the gravel, hit a car and the barrier, more cars, we get a time penalty, 2 seconds for colliding with Hamilton there, which I will put on at the end of the race. A 2-second penalty about where we do end up finishing in the 24 lap race, but we go for a few more brilliant maneuvers to end the lap. Unfortunately, we just can't get these two. The lap is just too short in a sense. Moving on to the Hungaroring, where we get a decent start, but again, there's 4 cars. There's 1 to my left and 2 to my right. We just have to not go for anything, just keep on our racing line, the one we have made up there, and you know, try not to collide like that with signs and not take damage, not give anyone any damage. But this is a brilliant move we actually end up going for. We see it's 3 wide, someone will have to back out, and it is Albon. We make sure we stay on the racing line. We get a brilliant move done. We go a bit wide there, we give back the advantage we gained, but that's about it. There's no overtaking spots in Hungary. But looking into Zandvoort, good start with behind the 2 Red Bulls already. Damage, of course, not the first time, not the last. Maybe we push Max wide there a little bit. That's maybe a little bit of frustration there, a little bit frustrated from the damage. And then we look at making more moves, but due to damage, we're lower on downforce. Even if the cars are all level, if you don't have the downforce, it's can't send, and we're too far back. But here we have just enough overspeed to send it down the inside. Stroll is around the outside, we keep a wheel in there, front wheel to back wheel, brilliant racing into that right hand. And then the only move is actually the other Aston Martin at the end of the lap. We force our way through, and that's about all there is. Now to Monza, to the Temple of Speed. We get a good start, but there's a car down our right, so we can't actually send it, so we're just squeezed in. Russell brakes way too early, we had nowhere to go. We're into the back with Russell, and you shouldn't say it's still the same incident of Silverstone's making this happen, but you know, can't use the same excuse all the time. It's the same thing, you know, just have to shake it off and look to make moves clean, and we keep a wheel to wheel there. We send it on 2, even 3 cars, probably a bit of an aggressive move. Verstappen looks to come back at us, but just doesn't get the traction. That's all there is to Monza. There's nothing that happens towards the end of the lap. Moving on to Baku. It's into turn 1, maybe a little bit of contact with the wall. We checked for damage, no damage, didn't hit the wall then. Or maybe did, but just tapped it, so there's not enough to give us damage. We send it our wheel to wheel with our teammate Liam Lawson. We're all over the back of Alexander Albon already. We're defending away from Liam Lawson, but also put us in a very good position to attack, because we're technically on the defensive-offensive line, so we do go for it. No contact. We look on the move on Verstappen for large part of that sector, but only here's where we can make it, but make a little bit of contact. That's probably for Zandvoort. He gets his way back, and then we're on Kimi Antonelli. Just again, like the situation to Tsunoda in an earlier lap, we just couldn't finish the move. No battery. Now looking into the Singapore Grand Prix, good start, or Singapore lap of this 24 lap Grand Prix. Good start there for us, keeping our wheels within the track limits to make sure we don't make a bad overtake there. And here we just completely missed the line. Illegal overtake on Verstappen. Yeah, that's Hadjar losing his job then. Have to give the position back. We lose 2 for 1 position. But here they keep fighting. We pick up the pieces. Verstappen though, on our inside, we give him a little bit of room as Leclerc just breaks so early. Leaves Verstappen good enough time to make the move. We make a move later on in the lap against Leclerc. That's that part. But now we're looking into full wet in COTA, Circuit of the Americas in Texas. Full wet tires for this one. We go around a long way, And that's the majority of the moves, as you see, all being done into turn 1 or turn 2 of this whole Grand Prix on each lap. Is that's where everyone is, and if, just to make it easier, and then we go for a move on Kimi, probably a bit of track limits there, but we give back the position for just a slight second, and then we take position again, and we end up in P4. And now looking onto the Mexican part of the lap of the Grand Prix here. Good start, but there's just way too many cars. We can't actually look for many moves here, otherwise it's just going to be damaged. We just have to pick our line, brake a bit earlier, and just down the middle, make it 3 wide there, make sure there's no contact, brave on the brakes to brake very late there. Everyone's just going for moves against each other, and Verstappen and Russell are wheel to wheel. We're going to look to go one way, but then fake it, go to the other way, go to the left and send it on the Verstappen. Russell just has overspeed there and blocks off the line. We then cut off the line for Verstappen as we are way ahead, and we take a late move on Russell. Probably should have waited it out, but if we waited out, we could not have gone for this move on Hamilton. He doesn't cover off completely. We're earlier on the brakes than him, so we managed to make the move stick. Now looking to Brazil towards the back end now of this whole one lap each Grand Prix. Just make sure we're behind Piastri here, and use battery on the exit of the center S's and just fully send it here on him. We're wheel to wheel, we have enough space, and we also look at Russell for a little bit, but then he just closes the door, so we have to brake and not hit into him. But that sets up brilliantly for a fake left, right go left, hit him a little bit, stick it on the left hand side. Bit of track limits there, but as he was still ahead, the game didn't say anything of him. Just make a move stick here. Russell just bangs sides of us the whole time, does not want to give up a position. Brilliant hard racing with George Russell here. Around the long way, he has the inside. We make sure to not make any contact there, look back, and again, we can't get Yuki Tsunoda. We just run out of track, or we run out of battery. That's how we can't make the move stick towards the end of the laps. But here in Las Vegas, probably the worst lap I'll ever have here, and it just fully sent it into our arch nemesis Russell. That gives us another 2-second time penalty, so in total now we're up to 4 seconds of penalty at Abu Dhabi. Here we make more contact, just not clean racing at all here. Nothing to be really proud of there at all. Into Qatar, Stroll covers off the line brilliantly, so we just have to brake early. We get overtaken by 3 wide there, bit of contact. They try to close the door, Albon does, because he gets pushed inside. Then we go for a move on the outside of Stroll, brilliant manoeuvre there, making it stick, look back, make sure we give him enough space, we don't cut him off fully. We have to look at Liam Lawson next. He doesn't fully close us, we see a bit of a move on there, we go for it, we get the move done. Again, now we're looking on the back of George Russell around the outside. That's a brilliant manoeuvre. He looked to cover off most of the racing line, but we just went around the outside and just fully sent it. I think this race is the one we make most positions up on. We make a brilliant move on Carlos Sainz here, just making it stick wheel to wheel. Brilliant racing up into the next left-hander where we just fully end the manoeuvre, and that's all there is to it. We just run out of track. And into Abu Dhabi, the finale here. The final lap, the finale of this video here, we look to make a move on Alonso, and we have 4-second penalty, which probably here will put us out of the points and out of the top 10 easily if we don't make a good sizable gap. But we go for a move on Antonelli. We're already on the back of Russell. We're looking at the back of Russell already, our arch nemesis, this whole video. And if I do 100% race with the grid how it ended here, then I will 100% have more altercation with Russell probably. And we go for a brilliant move there. He squeezes us out, but we keep brilliant line, and we go for a move on Verstappen, even not Tsunoda. Tsunoda's the next car ahead, but Verstappen just gets better traction out of the turn. We are looking for a move there. We look to complete the move. We actually do complete the move in the end. Odds versus Tsunoda. Can we finally get our second arch nemesis? Yes, we can. We overtake Yuki finally on the end of a lap. Took till the last lap of the Grand Prix. That's how things ended. And thanks everyone for watching. And I might do a full race. Bye.